My name is Lou Donovan, and I live in Carson, California.
And you have had trouble with electromagnetic radiation?
Yes, I've had a lot of trouble with electromagnetic radiation. It has put me in hospital 4 times.
Now, was this from your electric meter?
This is from the electric meter that was installed outside my bedroom window.
Okay.
And it affected the arrhythmia of my heart.
How do you know it was the meter?
Well, because since it has been removed, I've had no problem since. The arrhythmia.
And you had no problems before it was installed?
None at all before. I'd had problems with my heart before, which was perfectly all right for 20 years, and after that meter was put in, I started having arrhythmia problems.
So when you say arrhythmia problems, your heart was not functioning properly?
Well, my heart would speed up to do about 170 beats a minute, and I could normally control any arrhythmia that I would have before just by meditation and relaxing. And the smart meter, I couldn't bring it down. I had to be admitted into intensive care in the hospital.
And so this is from not necessarily the transmitted high energy radiation, the data transmission, but this is from the dirty electricity or the electromagnetic smog caused by the disruption of the power current in your home, I guess, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Because you've measured this, right? You have a meter.
I have a meter, and I measured it inside, and
so you find the levels in the home to be high,
yes.
And that would not be congruent with transmitted pulsed radiation. This is constant smog type radiation.
This is constant. Yes.
Right. So this is the other problem that they don't tell you the meters do.
Correct.
Basically.
Yes.
And you found that when you were in that electromagnetic field, your heart was going to high rates of arrhythmia.
Yes, and it wouldn't happen all the time. It happened the first time was 8 months after the meter was installed.
Yep.
And then the second time it occurred was 6 months after that, and then it went 4 months after that, and then went 2 months after that.
So you became more and more sensitive.
More sensitive as the time went by.
And you found that when you were able to remove the meter, that you did recover.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. And what would you recommend from your experience that people may not understand, or that you've gone through, what they should do or what they should know?
They should know that they can change that meter, and they should do that. That is the most important part of it, is to change that meter over. They need to know that, because it's a cumulative, the effect of the radiation, and it will get you even if you are healthy. Some part, if you have a weak part of your body, it will come out on that weak part. That's how it works.
It could damage you in different ways than even the person next to you.
Exactly. Yes.
And can you explain, in your experience, what the symptoms are they might look at? You have arrhythmia because you have a heart problem,
right?
But they may have other symptoms, right?
Well, the first things that occurred with me was headaches and neck aches. I thought it was because of the way I was sleeping. But no, it went on and on and on. And then I found that after the meter was removed from my house, I was sprayed by the next door neighbor's meter, which affected my breathing. So breathing will be affected. Your sleep, you can't sleep. You'll be up walking around at night. I mean, it's insomnia is just, you haven't heard about it yet.
So it could be headaches. It could be the usual, they say, insomnia, heart palpitations, loss of concentration, loss of brain function.
Exactly.
Those things. Anything else that you know that you can tell us to help people understand how to look out for the problems that their meter might be causing them?
Well, it's basically your overall health. You know, if there's something happening with you, then look at the meter itself. Look first to that.
So correlate when the meter was installed to when your health might have started to be affected. And then see if you feel better when you're outside, like camping or somewhere in the park where you're not exposed.
Yes. Outside is a lot, but once it gets you, once it builds up, the radiation builds up in your body, it's very hard to shake it off, because wherever you go, that's because it's built up so much.
It may take time to recover.
It takes time to recover, but you'll start recovering immediately as soon as that thing is removed.
Mm-hmm.
And remember also, too, that the next door neighbor's meter is also emitting radiation as well. So if that's very close to your establishment, your home, you're going to get the overspray from their meters. And since I've had the next door neighbor's one changed as well, which is just recently, I felt that immediately, that my breathing came back. I was starting to breathe, and I was worried about my breathing. I had an operation just recently for a hernia, and they do pre-op tests with your blood test and x-rays for your lungs to make sure you can handle the operation.
Right.
And the doctor then said that the blood tests were great. And I said, how about the x-rays? He says, your lungs are fine. I said, is there any COPD there or emphysema? He said, no. He says, they're good. I said, well, why do I have trouble breathing?
Right.
And this is the smart meter. As soon as that next door neighbor smart meter was changed over, my breathing started to come back. My breathing is getting better and better. And this has been just a week. This is just a week ago. This is brand new.
So it affects portions of your health that you would never expect.
You wouldn't expect, and it doesn't show up. Your lungs can be fine, but your breathing's not.
Right.
So.
Right. Why don't you show us your pacemaker there?
Sure.
Now this is an electrical device, and how is that affected by the smart meter?
Well, this was affected by the smart meter. I had this in the second time I went to the hospital after the meter was put in, which was around 8 months, 14 months, and this was a defibrillator pacemaker,
right.
And this regulates the arrhythmia in the heart, and then if the heart stops, this will.
Okay, you can that up. And that actually had to save your life a couple times because of the meter.
It has already, yes. At least 4 times this has saved my life. But the meter actually turned the pacemaker off, and I went into hospital, and the doctors could not understand why the pacemaker had gone off.
Now, when your pacemaker goes off, that could be fatal.
Yes. Yeah, when it doesn't work correctly.
Yeah.
It's supposed to pace it and everything. And
So,
I got arrhythmia even though I had this pacemaker in my chest, I still had arrhythmia. And then I had to go into hospital again.
So the pacemaker was unable to overcome the effects of the electromagnetic radiation.
Exactly, yes.
And it was affected itself by the electromagnetic radiation.
Yes, yes.
And it actually shut down your pacemaker.
It shut down my pacemaker, and it affected me when I first had the pacemaker, the defibrillator and pacemaker put in. Came out from the hospital. The first month I was at home, it stopped my heart completely, and then
what stopped your heart?
I believe the smart meter stopped my heart completely.
Yep.
The electrical current completely.
Really?
And then the defibrillator went off, boom, and started up again, which saved me again. Then 4 months after that, I had arrhythmia again, and the pacemaker was overridden by the smart meter, so I had to be admitted to hospital again, in intensive care to bring the.
Obviously, a pacemaker is not designed to withstand a heavy electromagnetic radiation field around it.
Exactly. Yes.
All right. Thank you, Lou. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Jerry.